Everyone, welcome back to the session again, and in this session we are going to learn how we can use lambda function with our S3. So before proceeding, let me just tell you what is lambda function. So lambda functions are basically functions for which you don't need a server, so you can think of it as a serverless function. Okay, so how we are going to use it here? So our purpose will be whenever we are trying to upload whenever we are uploading a file into our S3 bucket, it should trigger a lambda function, and using that trigger, when I am getting or executing the lambda function, I can process the files there. So for this training session, what we will do, once we upload the file, we will see if the file name and the bucket name is getting printed or not, and we can see what file we have uploaded. So in real-time use case or in production environment, if I try to implement it or use it, use case scenario which I can easily see is, so let's say you are working on a organization or working on an application. Whenever some files get uploaded into S3 bucket, it will trigger a lambda function, and using the file name you can send a notification to admins or to other users that okay, this file has been successfully uploaded. Okay, so there are multiple processes. Also you can take that particular file and behind the scene in a backend or in a different server, you can try to process that particular file also. You have multiple use cases. When you receive that uploaded that file, you can just send that file via email. Lot of use cases. Okay, so let's see first how we can create a lambda function, right? So what we need to do, we need to come into our search word, and here we need to type lambda. Once we type it, just click on this lambda. It will take you into lambda dashboard. Here just click on create a function. Before creating, you can see that you can run Java code, Node.js code, Python code, Ruby, all those functions here. In our tutorial or in our this session, we will see how we can run Node.js file. So let's go ahead and create a function. I'm going to select author from scratch, so I'll create a new file, or from scratch I'll be using the default selection, because from scratch I'll be creating the file. Now in the basic information, I need to provide a function name. So let's say the function name is my first lambda. Okay, now you can select from here whatever the runtime environment you want to select. So I am going with by default selected Node.js environment. Now just click on create function. So let's wait for the function to be created. Okay, so my function is created. Now I can just go here and I can write my function here. Okay, so by default this is called as index.mjs. So see, my function name is based on the function name. It already created a folder, and inside that it's running a index.mjs function. Now let me rename it and call it a js function. Once that is done, let's go ahead and write a basic Node.js function. So for that purpose, let's go and open this lambda.js in our Visual Studio Code and copy this first section from here. So if you check, this one and this function is almost similar, but instead of using this one, I am going to use this one. So once I am done with this, I can just go ahead and click on deploy. Until or unless I am clicking on deploy, I will not be able to see the output because my function is still not saved. Once I click on deploy, only after that the changes that I have made into my function, it will be saved, and after that I can just click on test. Now when I am running first time, if I click on test, it will ask me to create an event and give a event name. So let me just give a event name, and everything just keep it as it is and click on save. Now if I click on test, you can see the execution result and you can see the response status code 200, and this is the body of the response, exactly what is provided here. Okay, now let's go ahead and search for S3, because I have mentioned what we are going to do. We are going to upload a file into our bucket, and once a file is uploaded, we should be able to see or invoke a Lambda function, right? So how we can do it? Let's go ahead and create a new bucket. So for bucket name, I am providing Node.js Lambda bucket. Okay, so here everything is disabled by default. Let's go ahead and create bucket. So I have already created Node.js Lambda bucket. Now let's go back into our Lambda function. Here let's click on add trigger. So we are creating a trigger. We need to select a source. So in the source, just type S3. Once you type S3 here, you can select the S3 service from here. Now the next thing we need to choose is our bucket. So we are selecting the newly created Node.js Lambda bucket. Here we can select event type. So on which event type my Lambda function should be called. By default, all object create events is selected. So it is selected here. If I just click on this drop down, it's selected here, and I am just scripting as it is, because whenever an object is created, I am trying to create the event. You can also do it like once the file is deleted or something is uploaded or updated and all those stuff. And let's select this one and click on add. Once I click on add, the trigger is created. You can see the trigger is created, and this is the details of that particular trigger. Okay, now let's go into code and replace this particular code with a code which can listen to file upload, and once file upload is done, and it should trigger that particular function which I am going to write here, and I should be able to see what file I have uploaded in which bucket. So let's go back to our this lambda.js file, which you can find in the test resource which you have downloaded from GitHub. From here, just copy this second portion of code and paste it here. So what is trying to do, if I have the file is uploaded, so it is going to log a console saying new file uploaded with the file name and the bucket name, right? So let me just change it so that you guys can see the modified code. New file uploaded for test named file name in bucket name. Now just deploy this particular function, and I am done here setting up. Now simple, just go into our bucket, click on upload, and just go ahead and drag and drop any file that you want to upload, and just hit the upload button. So you can see one file is successfully updated. But how I can verify that my Lambda function is executed? That's a question, right? We need to verify if the Lambda function is called or not, because from here I cannot see if the function is executed. So there is a way I can see it. For that, I need to search for CloudWatch. Okay, and from here just open the logs. This particular logs which is which should be executed when this function will be triggered, this log should get stored in our log. So first thing we can check in our log group. So we have this logs. Okay, so my first lambda, my first lambda, and all of those. So let me go with this one, because okay, my function name is my dash first dash lambda. Okay, so let's go here and go into log group again and select on my first lambda. So here you can see I have two log stream. Okay, one is somewhere before and this one is later, 3 minutes later. Now if I click on this first one, you can see that this particular thing, what this thing done, this is just a simple log and I can't see that much of thing here, right? Now let's check the second log and see if it has what we are looking for. Okay, you can see it has what we are looking for. So it has new file uploaded for test lambda.js in bucket node.js lambda bucket. Also you can see that I have changed it to new file uploaded for test. Okay, so yeah, it's working. New file uploaded for test, and this is the file name and this is the bucket name. So you can see that my function has or my lambda function has been triggered automatically as soon as I uploaded a file into my S3 bucket. So that's all for this session, and this is how you can create a lambda function, and using S3 trigger you can call your lambda function based on certain events. I hope you guys like this session. If you like this session, just don't forget to drop a like and comment, and don't forget to share this video with your friends and family if you think that it can benefit them. Okay, thank you for watching, and please keep motivating me by dropping comment and giving like, so that I can provide you with more tutorial or more sessions like this. Thank you everyone. Okay.